All right, the pre-roll got cut. It's okay. Welcome to Friday Night Tactical number 6. Can you guys hear me? Stu?
Neal.
Chat, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I got you.
I can hear you. Reading you 5 by
Test?
5.
Okay, I had you guys muted. Always some little technical glitch. Welcome to Friday Night Tactical number 6. We're already up to number 6. Who do we have in chat? John Sheehan, Dave's Gaming Cave, ID Klein, old college buddy, old college roommate of mine from undergrad school. Runt Herder, FS Mora, John Sheehan from New Hampshire. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome Stu. Welcome Scott. Welcome Amy.
Hola.
Ciao. Hola.
Yo.
I did a poll past couple weeks asking basically the channel community. Man, I gotta get this window thing under control. There we go. Let's do that. What topic they'd like to see next? And 50% of the people, there are 100 and some votes on what we were going to talk about for this Friday Night Tactical. And they voted for us, including chat. I mean, they can pipe in on chat as well to talk about how we got into ASL. Last Friday Night Tactical, we talked about approaching the complexities of ASL, but this time they voted for us to talk about how we got into ASL ourselves. And I don't know about you guys. Mine's kind of a longish tale, a little meandering. You guys are probably similar, but it should be interesting. And then we're gonna go over some more models from the model show he goes to. And then Scott's got some trivia questions that we're going to have fun with, both ASL and just sort of random, I believe. Is that correct, Scott?
Yeah, not really trivia questions this time. They're just random questions and
Just-
some ASL related
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. See if we can have some fun with that. Scott, how many was it every month your model club meets? Once a month?
10 times a year.
10 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
About every month. Yeah.
And as usual, chat. If you have comments, questions, post them up, and we'll try to do our best to answer them. Let me pop up your models, Scott. I was going to ask you, every time you go, 10 times a year, is it the same? Do you kind of see the same models being brought back every month or so, or is it new stuff every time?
Well, at the meetings, it's just stuff that guys are working on. These pictures were all from we have a model show, a contest once a year. That's where all these pictures are from.
The ones you sent me?
Yeah.
It's from an actual model contest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from a show, and the club is different. What do you do in the club when you meet?
We just discuss any club business. The only real business we have is putting on the contest every year. So, and there's a few other things, but yeah, and then it's just discussing models. Everybody kind of shows and talks about what they're working on, stuff like that. Nothing really exciting.
So how hot would it be in that vehicle right there in the desert, closed up?
Hot.
Hot as
Oh
hell.
my gosh! How much
Hot.
water would you have to drink to just maintain your hydration levels? That'd be crazy.
A lot. They used to be so desperate for water they would drain the radiators. And drink the crap that was in the radiators.
Delish.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Not good.
Before we start going through these, do we have anyone watching from either Facebook or Twitch? Post a comment, and Amy, you let us know if there's anyone actually tuning in from Twitch or Facebook. I want to know if that's running. Let's jump into the models. What do we have here? If you remember each of these vehicles specifically.
Well, yeah. It's some kind of British armored car with a cupola on it. Other than that, I don't know. I mean,
Is that
my thing's airplanes really. So
is that an anti-tank gun? Maybe.
no.
There's
it could be an anti-tank
something.
rifle.
Yeah.
Might be an anti-tank rifle, but it's like a Lewis gun or something. And
Yeah, it's big. Oh, there's a big boy.
yeah, that's
It's
Grant.
Yeah. Got that
M3.
funky side 75 on it.
Yeah, sponson mounted 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically M3 Lee, but the British put a different turret on it.
Right. I think
Yeah,
they
that's-
primarily use this for infantry support.
Target
I
practice.
think.
Yeah. I was about to say, what's the range of that thing?
It has a huge silhouette, if I remember.
Oh yeah, tall.
Yeah.
Dang.
What'd you ask, Stu?
I was wondering what the range of that 75 would be. It seems pretty short.
Yeah, it's a short barrel. I think they mainly use it for infantry support. I think. Fired HE, I think.
Yeah.
Most of the time. A lot of these models, and last time we streamed, they seem to have a desert theme. Is that common with model makers? Is it easier to do desert stuff?
No, not necessarily. No, it's actually kind of rare. Usually, you see North Africa stuff, but.
Huh.
This is pretty cool. This is actually a 1/6 scale German 50 millimeter tank gun. Yeah, so it's a big model.
How big? I mean, how wide do you think that is? Like couple
that
feet
table's
or something?
The table might be like 3 feet wide, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
That's
probably
huge.
I mean, if you put 6 of those side by side, that would be the width of the actual gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Maybe like the size of one of the drop zone maps on base.
One,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Is that an M20?
Yeah.
M20 Free French Army.
Yeah, it looks like Free French. Pretty sure it says Passy and not the other. Oh, there, yeah.
Drive that thing around town. Anybody
Oh,
pulls
yeah, it
out in
says
front
right
of
on
you,
the
just
base,
keep
M20.
driving. Just drive right into it. Oops.
It's got a 50 caliber on it. Looks like
Yeah. Modus
Modus M2.
Paris. Oh,
Okay,
That's what's
so
up.
Russ is asking, love the stream. Are there any railway guns in ASL? What would I don't know what that is. Sure, Gustav Stalin be?
Stat line.
Statline? Okay, I got no idea.
Probably like minimum
Fair
rage
Gustav.
200 Texas or something like that.
Beyond the scale of ASL.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the min rage 200.
Are there
So,
any railway guns? I think there might be some aftermarket.
Yeah, I
and
think there are. Yeah.
And I think in the upcoming, I think they're tentatively calling it Polish Eagle historical, and we went over that
Oh, really?
a few back when we did the ASL roadmap thing. I think we brushed on the Polish Eagle. I think there's one side of the board has a big rail line on it, and they might have uh, a rail gun in that historical module whenever that may come out, but I'm not
Yeah,
100%
super rare.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be big. That'd be huge.
What do we have here, Scott?
German self-propelled gun. Other than that, I'm sorry, I don't.
You don't have all these memorized? Looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's probably a Panzer 38 chassis, maybe. No, I don't know. It's on a different chassis.
Looks pretty small.
Is that 47L? The Panzer Jaeger or something like that?
Yeah.
47L on that thing?
Oh.
I think that's unarmored in the back sort of crap. Yep, there you go. Tim's on it.
What's he got?
Panzer Jaeger 1. Yep.
Tim.
Super early.
Okay. That looks like a repeat. Zoom in of the previous one.
It's a different French guy in the back. New model, just a different French guy.
I think we're
same
just
one,
repeating.
yeah.
Oh, this one. This is new. We haven't seen this one. Here we go. Airplane, Scott.
This one's actually mine, yeah.
Is it?
This
Oh,
is mine.
cool.
Spit Mark 9. Yeah.
When did you
Polish markings.
When did you do this one?
Oh, I haven't even, since we started playing ASL, I haven't even finished a model.
Have you
I haven't
started?
finished a model in 3 years or something. But, this one's probably 5 or 6 years ago I finished this.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 48 scale.
nice. Looks good. Do you wish you had more time or made models more than you do?
Yeah, probably. It's too much going on at most times, but
Yeah. ASL is definitely time consuming. Although not
it's-
lately so
yeah,
much for
not
us.
not necessarily just ASL, but
Right.
less
Yeah,
free
there's-
time in general.
Life in general, right? That's it for this round of models. I don't know. Maybe you have more pictures to come later, but that's all we have now. Do you want to do your little Q&A?
Questions?
Sure.
My questions Q&A.
I think you're proposing that we have some sort of trivia contest down the road. We haven't worked out the
Yeah,
details.
that's what I
ASL
was-
trivia type thing.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, these are just some. I just kind of spur of the moment. I kind of thought of it this morning. Just some random questions. It's for you and Stu and the chat pack.
Okay, so
I mean,
Stu,
everybody can.
this is delayed a little bit, so the chat can jump in as well. So
Well, there's no right or wrong answers. It's just they're
Oh,
kind of personal
their
preference
opinion
type.
stuff. Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Question. Are we ready?
Ready.
Yes. Question number 1. Favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni. One topping? Single topping?
Whatever you put on your pizza. Favorite.
Pepperoni. Can't go wrong.
Artichoke hearts.
Really?
Hmm,
Look at
really?
Stu being all healthy.
Yeah, interesting.
I just like the vinegar.
Pepperoni and mushroom. I like
Yeah, it's good.
a combo.
I
about-
kind
how
of like
about
pepperoni and sausage.
How about Amy? You can pipe in
Amy.
here.
Yes.
Well,
Although you-
back in the day when I ate pizza,
She
it was
doesn't.
always Canadian bacon and pineapple. Please don't hate me.
No, that's the greatest. That's the greatest.
Heathen, you heathen.
U-bakes were always Canadian
Yeah.
bacon pineapple.
Gonna put banana on your
That's-
pizza next?
Dehydrated
good
bananas might be
question.
good.
What's that? Stu? I heard. I missed-
Dehydrated be like bacon
Oh.
bits.
Oh,
Oh yeah, banana
nah,
chips.
no, nasty.
Italian,
There's
hot
certain
Italian
things-
sausage,
there's,
the spicy stuff. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, certain things you just shouldn't put on a pizza.
Like arugula.
Question number 2. When it comes to ASL, what's your favorite nationality to play?
I know what yours is.
I was going to say that would be a fun part of this, guessing what is the other person's, because we know Scott's is American.
Even Amy knows
Well,
that.
I know what Neal's is.
You think you know?
Neal's is. It's the Germans.
No. I think
Oh yeah.
I like the Japanese because they make you
Yeah.
play completely differently. You approach the game significantly different when you play the Japanese. The Germans are a safe, I mean, they're kind of the jack of all trades. They have good units, good weapons. They don't do anything great or
Good
poorly.
leadership.
Yeah, they're just a good, solid nationality. Once you get beyond that, the other nationalities have their own idiosyncrasies. Even the Americans do a little bit.
I think mine's the French.
Really?
Yeah, only because
Hmm.
I suck at tanks, and they have the best armor in the early war. So even if you make a mistake, like your flank is the same armor as your front, so it doesn't matter if you happen to get caught on the side. And their guns are pretty decent, but I
You
just
like
hate the
you like croissants.
the croissant
Croissant, baguettes.
and and the baguettes and but yeah, the blue color's cool. They pop out on the map, and yeah, I just like the French. The French are pretty cool. I don't play a lot of the French, but when I do, you know,
Watch.
yeah, their armor's kind of really weak. Some of the armor's weak as hell, and just machine guns, and it's really really off the beaten path. But the French would be my, if I had a scenario, 10 scenarios in front of me, 10 different nationalities, I'd probably pick the French out of the original. Don't play them enough. Yeah.
So Russ is asking, are there any armies that are almost all conscripts?
You could say the Italians are kind of that way,
Close.
but
But they're not all officially conscripts. It's just,
yeah,
they're just not
Yeah.
very good. They don't have, I don't think they have a full 5 levels of elite to conscript either.
right.
I'm trying to remember, but yeah. But I don't think there's any nationality that is just purely conscript is all they have. They all have some level of quality.
Right.
The Russians did go from first line to conscript, don't they? They have no second line.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, some nationalities do that. Let me ask Scott, back to your question real quick.
Yes.
Do you prefer U.S. Army or U.S. Marine Corps over the Americans?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I'd have to say, just for stupid reason, American paratroopers would probably be my favorite to play. But then,
747.
yeah, Marine Corps close behind. I don't think the Devil Squads. That's pretty tough, but
Yeah.
So Russ is asking, what would be the most niche minor nation you would want to see in ASL? Maltese Knights?
I mean, getting their actual own counter set. Oh, I have no
Hmm.
idea.
I kind of like the absolute worthless counters in the new Hollow Legions. You know, the what is it, Sons of Nagus? You know,
Oh,
first line squads are like
Oh,
2/7s or something like that. I mean, something completely worthless that you have to like,
those are Eritrean. Is that what you're
yeah,
talking
something
about?
like that. Yeah, you got to actually get under the opponent's skin to actually attack them. So,
Face
so
to face.
those
Yeah.
those. I mean, they're already in the system, right? But they're kind of new. I guess it's been a year or so.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything of specific,
Yeah,
small niche minor nation because I mean if they're that super niche, their quality is going to be pretty low. And you can just represent them by, allied or axis minor, I guess.
right, all right.
So
all right.
let's hear one of your stories about how you got into ASL, and then we can come back to more of these.
Sure. Who wants to start?
Mine's real similar to yours. So,
Yeah, at the beginning, I think it diverges in the middle.
I
Um,
love it. Yeah.
yeah, I'll start, I guess. Um, well, let me first ask chat. We have, it looks like we have 20 people on right now. What is your first war game you either bought or played or played? And I'll jump into my story. So I've always been a gamer. When I was a kid, I played arcade games, you know, Space Invaders, pinball machines. I used to sneak down to the student union building at the local college. In both the towns I grew up in, they both had colleges, and I would sneak in there, and it'd probably be funny for college students to see this little kid in there all alone playing pinball machines and
Jeez,
video games. And they were small save towns, so it was fine. My parents didn't really worry about me that much, and they couldn't control me because I had a bicycle and I went pretty much anywhere. Uh, but the first game I think I bought after Dungeons and Dragons, 1978. Dungeons and Dragons kind of turned me into like a board, pen and paper. Got me interested in that because when I first played it, it was my mind was blown. There was nothing, I'd never encountered anything like it before. Playing Dungeons and Dragons, and my brain seems to be attracted to complex systems, whether it's gaming or reading. I like really complicated books. I studied engineering and physics, right? My brain, for some reason, is attracted to complex systems. So board gaming really fascinated me. And the first board game I bought is, I have it here. Can you guys see it?
oh wow,
Right there. This isn't the actual one. I bought this. They reprinted it in these boxes here,
yeah.
right? And it just came. It was back in the day. It was $3.95. I think I have. I pulled it up on. Let me see if I can share this. Board Game Geek. This is what it originally looked
Oh
like.
wow,
It was $4. It was just Steve Jackson micro game number 8. $4. I didn't
Hmm.
have any money when I was a kid, so I could
yeah.
afford it. And ground effect vehicle, most people here probably know it. Um, Comes with a map, very simple map, and one sheet of counters and one rule book, and it came in a plastic pocket thing. And that was
Yeah,
it.
pretty cool.
And I played that when I was a kid. When I was a teen, I think it was after Dungeons and Dragons, just after that, because I started getting into it. And then that led to things like um, fantasy games, like Divine Right and the Middle Earth war game, a game called Sword and Sorcery, a lot of SPI type games. They had a lot of science fiction type games, and also dabbled in things like the Russian campaign. Scott, you had a lot of war games back then. You had, remember we played Africa
Uh,
Corps, Fortress of Europa,
Blitz
Luftwaffe.
or yeah, Blitzkrieg,
Yeah.
um,
Um, but then as far as
Luftwaffe.
yeah, as far as ASL goes, you introduced me to ASL because you were more into the World War II side of it. I was just into the general gaming. I played a bunch of different genres and types of games. including D&D, which you played with us sometimes as well. Then
Yeah.
you introduced me to Squad Leader back in 70, I don't know, 8, whatever that
8
was.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. And we started playing that in junior high, high school,
Yeah. Junior
I
high.
think. Yeah. And then went into high school. I went into the military, into the Army Reserve, and then I started college after that. And after graduation, and you moved away, we kind of talked about this in one of the other streams. And my gaming vanished, really, when I was in undergrad school. I didn't play anything. I still had all my stuff, but I just didn't have time to play anything. And then I graduated from undergrad. I went to grad school, and you moved back, and we reconnected, and we started playing Squad Leader again.
Hmm.
Then we went into ASL again, and then I moved away again for a job after I finished school. Worked for years and years and years, and during those years, I went. This is probably where our paths diverge. I converted to being a computer gamer.
Hmm.
Because it's just so convenient to do computer gaming, right? You can jump on your computer, play for 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, whatever you want, and save it and be done and come back and play it later. But I always gravitated to, I mean, I played lots of science fiction games, first turn shooters, all that stuff. I tried real time strategy games and I absolutely hated them, and I hate them to this day. I just can't play them. There's no strategy involved with real-time strategy games, in my opinion. It's just how fast you can select the units and click on things. That's pretty much all it is for me. There's no thinking to it, really. I never glommed on to that genre, but I did glom on to squad level tactical games. And one of them, you may have heard me mention it before, it's called XCOM.
Hmm.
And uh, ASL, I think of it more of a platoon level game because you usually always have, 3 squads associated with one leader, and kind of group them up and move them and control them that way. Uh, XCOM is literally a squad level game. You have individual men, but it's all turn based and it's all tactical. You choose what units to attack. You choose when to throw a grenade, where to throw it, things like that. And I played a ton, and I have some gameplay here. I'll just let this run here. Um,
Yeah, the original XCOM was excellent. Really, really good
this
game.
this is a new one. Oh, let me put it up here. And there have been various iterations of XCOM, from the original XCOM in '95 up until XCOM, X Terror from the Deep, XCOM. Oh, what was the third one called? I forget. Apocalypse. Then they remade them. XCOM 1, XCOM 2 in the 2015, 2018 timeframe. And combined with these games, I've probably spent all of them. I've probably spent 2,000 hours playing the
Wow.
XCOM games. I love them. It's pure tactics and building a squad and deciding what you're going to do with the units, how you're going to attack the aliens. It's science fiction. It's squad. It's humans versus aliens who are invading Earth. But I love this series, and this is what kind of got me through the not having time to devote to ASL, but wanting to get a tactical fix between working a ton and me being able to retire recently, fortunately. Uh, and then we got back into ASL again because I had time, and Scott has found the time to indulge us in ASL, and that's pretty much my story. I will still play XCOM if they release a XCOM 3. I will play the hell out of it because I love this game.
Cool.
I like
That's
the
about
hidden
it.
units in XCOM. It's really good.
Yeah, it's got fog of war. You don't
Yeah.
see anything until you get line of sight, but everything's fogged out. You don't know where they are, or where they're hiding until you run across them, or they see you and they shoot at you, like
Yeah.
that, right there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Good game. Highly recommended. If I think there might be World War II ones maybe like this, but it's not. They're just not. XCOM is kind of the gold standard for squad level tactical games. That's it for me, I guess. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Have you played it, Stu?
Yeah, I played the original XCOM, like you said, forever.
Yeah.
Never played XCOM Terror of the Deep.
Hard,
My
that's
son,
hard as hell.
yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. And the XCOM 2, my boys play the hell out of, and they just bought me that on Steam like about 2 months ago, so I might get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love, like you said, just love the tactical feel. You know, you could go heavy units, and you know they go into more detail. I kind of like the simpler stuff. So I don't have to work. I don't have to spend 30 minutes equipping my guy. I just want to kind of like, okay, I want these 3 guys and let's go, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, you
But
only in this one you only control 6 guys. In the original XCOM, I think you could have like 12 or more.
yeah, I'm not sure how many, but it was absolutely a lot of fun. I remember playing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Really good. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
takes use of cover, you know, partial cover, full cover, you know, dropping smoke or whatever like that to hinder lines of sight. Very simple tactical feel to it. And you learn a lot of, you know, good tactics to use instead of
Yeah.
just charging forward.
How to attack positions, how to control positions, and yet there are sort of time units, right? You can choose to fire at no penalty, really, or you can move,
Hmm.
use like half of a turn to move, and then you fire with a penalty. It's it's similar mechanics. I'm sure the guys that originally developed this knew of ASL and tactical systems because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff you see is in here.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's my story. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll kick it.
Yeah, Stu go.
Vlad
So,
says, "Oh, I missed it." Vlad says, real quick, there's a new game coming out this year called Exonauts 2. Looks very close to OG XCOM. Yeah, XCOM. A lot of people. There's a lot of copycats out there. Some pretty good, some not so good.
yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. So my first purchased game, but not my first war game, was Squad Leader. And
Really, your very first?
the very first game that I purchased, I think I bought it for $15. But my buddies got me into wargaming in like 8th grade or something like that. A guy sat in front of me, and you know, just conversation. He plays war games and things like that. I of course didn't know anything about him. I think he had Panzerblitz and Panzer Leader. I think I like Panzer Leader better simply because it was West Coast or West Front. You know, I didn't know anything about Eastern Front. Yeah, you know, Russians or whatever sort of thing. So, but those are the first ones I played, and then of course, you know, your classics, Avalon Hill games, Russian campaign,
Mm-hmm.
Third Reich a little bit, but you know,
I could never get into Third Reich.
yeah, it was more too large of a scale to me. I like
Yeah.
the smaller scales. You know, the Russian front, you've got like a fun map. It's got to have a nice map. You know, Third Reich was just white, boring. You know, whatever. So, and then after that, we played through Cross of Iron, Crescendo of Doom, and then GI came along, and I think he faded away from it. I only had like one opponent. So
Good time to fade away.
yeah,
GI.
we only played like a couple scenarios. I mean, I was really getting into it because I really like the artwork on the American counters. They look pretty cool. The squads look terrible, but the counters look great. The vehicles look great.
Mhm.
And then you know, a couple years passed, just a couple, and then I met up with another person, and he had, you know, he was playing Avalon Hill, the Advanced Squad Leader one, the first one, and so I just looking around, you know, who else can I play Squad Leader with, that sort of thing, and found his name at the local hobby store, called him up, and you know, was my face to face partner for like 2.5 years, and that's pretty much my face to face, you know, legacy is just playing him for 2.5 years, but you know, he was a good solid player, and he'd always pull tricks on me in the rule book, and that's what got me to, you know, I hated to read, and I mean, if you hate to read, you kind of don't want to pick up ASL, but I don't like to lose, so it kind of goes without saying that if you don't like to lose, you got to read more and be on your toes, and you know, it's World War II, it's interesting, it's fun, it's cool, you know, and obviously maybe a little bit more organized, more detailed than the squad leader system. So I didn't mind the detail because it wasn't too bad, and you just had fun with it. It was just more fun than Squad Leader, and so we played, and he'd always play the Germans, and that's why I don't mind playing any and all the allies. I don't mind playing. Keeps me on my toes because I have to remember different rules for different nationalities, and he might forget them, but I would have to be have to know my own guys, and so from my perspective, I think it's better to play the allies per se, because you're playing a variety of nationalities, anywhere from the cheapo minor, any minor nationality to France, Britain, the U.S. and so on and so forth, and the Russians, of course, and each one of those guys plays differently, and so you're always going back to the rule book. Okay, we're going to be playing some Beyond Valor game. I got to catch up on my Russians, and I do that to this day. Anytime I play the Russians, I go back in there. Can I do commissars? How the hell do I berserk? How do I bonsai or whatever like that, or human wave? I go back every single time, just to refresh, and that's just what I've been doing the whole times, and I kind of avoid lots of the armor simply because I like the squad, like you said, the squad level combat. The armor was very secondary to me, and it still is. And if I want to play armor, I'd go play Panzerleader, something like that, strictly armor, or some other game that might have that. So when I see an ASL scenario, it's got like 3 or 4 squads and 12 tanks, see ya. Not really interested in it. It's just dice. It's major dice rolling at that point, and so it's. But
so what type of? I mean, we're friends on Steam. I see you have a decent Steam library. I don't remember how many games, but what are some of your games in your Steam library? Just out of curiosity.
What
or what do you play the most? Like the games I played the most are probably the XCOM games.
Right.
Hundreds of hours on those.
Right. I picked up. I'm kind of like a moody type of gamer. If I'm bored, don't want to do anything, you go to the first person shooter. So I've got like over 2,000 hours in PUBG.
Oh, wow.
And then, I've got a lot of time in Second Front, got just over 100 hours, which is a lot for me. And then some of the other games, Meta War Assault Squad 2, that was kind of fun. It's sort of like a, click and select different guys. And, but it's really, finicky somewhat, but it's still a lot of fun. I also picked up the Euro Truck Simulator 2, and that's just for
your chill game.
That's just chill. I just turn on my music and I turn on Spotify on the side, and I'm just driving around, just making deliveries all across Europe. And so, and it's really funny. I have
it's a hugely popular game.
Yeah. I got most of the maps and stuff like that. So my base was in the UK, and so my truck, the steering wheel's on the wrong side, guys. It's on the wrong side, and but I transferred my truck, and now I'm working in Europe, and all the driving is on the left side. So, but I still have that one truck, and I haven't switched. So it's like I'm driving on the wrong side, like all through Europe, and it's like, man, this sucks. I kind of like going back to the UK and driving on the other side of the road. So, and it's really funny because obviously they got to condense everything, but when you go down the channel and come across the other side, and when you start off on the next map, or whether country, whichever you're coming or going from the mainland, you got to remember to get on the other side of the road, because you'll see cars coming at you. Ah, shit, I'm back in the UK.
Let me read.
So if we all
go ahead.
If we all took a trip to Europe,
Stu's,
Stu could be our driver.
Stu's driving. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
He's got that virtual experience. Tim, for me, Steel Divisions 1 and 2 and the JT campaign series are constant staples. What's the JT campaign? I've heard of Steel Division 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I've not played them, but I've heard of them.
Steel Division 1. I think I played Steel Division 1 a long time ago, and that's pretty much ASL on computer. It's really tight. It's really tight. But I don't know what the JT series is.
Yeah, Tim, if you can say what JT means, because I'm not sure what it is. But that reminds me of
John Tiller.
Oh, John Tiller or Tyler, yeah.
I remember playing the other operational games on the computer a long time ago. It's like I don't know if it was Microprose or something like that. It's like Campaign in Europe or something like that.
Operational
and
Art of
you
War.
would
I
just
tried
play.
that.
I don't know. It's like
Too
16
big.
hours, and you're still fighting to get off Utah Beach. Sort of thing.
Do you
It's like it,
remember? I don't know if you do, but back in the '90s, there was a series of games published by Talonsoft, and they had like an Ardennes one. There were like, I don't know, 10 different
I think I
games
remember the
that came
Towns Off
out,
series. Didn't play them, but I remember them coming out at that
and you
time.
could
Yeah.
do like a top-down view, and it was I think it was pretty close to tactical level, and then you could do like a 3D map. Remember, this is like the mid '90s when these came out.
Wow.
I played some of those. They were pretty cool war games.
Yeah.
The Ardennes one, I think it was similar to something like Kampfgruppe Piper. I think it was in the same area.
Wow.
I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
If it
probably.
was called Ardennes or something else.
Yeah. I played what I played most of the time for instead of those games, I just played Close Combat. Bridge Too Far on the Close Combat series. A couple of
Close
those
Combat
basic
was
ones.
supposed to be ASL, right?
Right.
Originally,
Right.
but
And
never got there.
yeah, it was kind of it was there. It's sort of like to bide the time when you didn't have an ASL opponent. And that's where I played most of my computer war games, is when I didn't have an ASL opponent in the '90s. Of course they were coming out too, and and then just get back into it. And again, I just keep reading the rules. I mean, I'm an okay player, but you got to keep up on the rules. It's like anything. I mean, you go play basketball or whatever, and you don't play basketball for 3 or 4 weeks. You go back out there, you're all stiff, and you got to kind of like relearn how to do stuff again. So,
It's
but
different muscles, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it keeps it fresh, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
just keeps it fresh, and when you go back into it, heck, there's always something that you might discover. Just go into something differently or play somebody differently. Even the same scenario, because say like pillboxes or something like that. Everyone kind of basically knows how to play pillboxes, but every guy probably plays it differently to some extent on what the capabilities are, and I just like learning different parts of the game. That's all it's about for me. Is just
I'm going
learning.
to jump in here real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
So we haven't heard from Scott yet, and I know that Scott is really interested in the history, and I'd be curious to know if the people in chat and if Neal and Stu, like, did you get into World War II history as a result of playing? Were you interested in the history before, like, or do you just not care and you play the game?
Do you want us to answer before Scott goes, real quick, or
No,
after?
think about it. Let Scott
Okay.
answer, and
All right.
then and
Okay.
the chat can answer too.
Okay. Scott, go.
Yes. As far as the history part, is that what? I don't know. Yeah, I was just. I think for me it was the TV show Baba Black Sheep
Hmm.
in like 1976.
Hmm.
I don't know why. You watch it now, it's pretty stupid, but back then I loved it, and
I
that
like the
kind of got
rap
me
patrol.
because I remember, yeah. But I remember going grocery shopping with my mom one day and walked into the store, and they always had the paperback books and the magazine section right there,
Huh.
and there was a carousel of paperback books, and one of them was Boyington's autobiography, Boa Black Sheep. And I'd already been watching the TV show, and I was like, "Oh, I want that! Mom, can you buy me that book?" And she did, and that was kind of my entry into World War II. They had that whole Bantam War Book series,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'd go in there.
Yeah,
It
the
was
white
my local
covered ones with the cool art. Yeah.
Well, they always had a cool cover,
Hmm.
but yeah, I just started. That was kind of my entry into World War II, and I think then. Yeah, like I met Neal in 7th grade, and I don't know how we became friends exactly, but you had your little clique of friends, and you invited me to play Dungeons and Dragons with you guys, and I'd never done that, but got into that, and we played several times, and I remember one summer day we got together and we played, and we finished up the dungeon or whatever, and then we decided to hike down to the game store
Hmm.
and just
I don't
hell
remember
of it.
this.
And we got down there and looking around, and here was squad leader. And I was just starting to get into World War II, and I was looking at it. Where John came over, John Jacobs, and he said, "Oh, you don't want to get that; it's too complicated."
Oh,
But I
really?
read the back of the box, and it's like, "No, I gotta have this. I gotta have this." And I was,
And John was the guy who loved
yeah,
Third Reich. He loved that game,
Oh wow.
and he thought Squad Leader was too complicated.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it wasn't. No, I took it home and read the first few pages. The guards counterattack solo, and then I started telling you about, oh, we gotta play this. This is so much fun, and we started. And
Yeah, I don't remember when I picked it up. I don't know the time frame. I ended up getting it eventually, but I don't remember if it was right away or. Sure, I
Well,
had to
yeah, I'm
save
pretty
up.
sure that either you came out to my house or I went to your house and when we played, and you loved it too, and I'm sure you got after that, but
Yeah, I think I'm like Neal. I'm just a gamer first, and historian third or fourth down the line. I think the only history that I know is simply just based upon the movies and things like that, and some of the things I might be reading online casually, very casually online, but I don't go out of my way to research stuff. About the only research I've ever done on history is when I've done some of the on some of my videos where I have like a little historical background using Google Maps. I'd have to like look up the history of the area so I could kind of give an intro to it, and that's about it for me. I mean, if you call me division so and so, where did the such and such a division fight? I would have no clue whatsoever.
see, I'm kind of the opposite. I like to read about the battle, and then I like to play the game, some kind of game that relates to that battle.
Yeah, I mean, you're always reading history books, guy, and you play other board games, and you've even done miniatures, right? You
Oh.
played.
Yeah.
What was that miniature system called?
We used to
Flames of War.
play.
What was it called?
Well, yeah, not much. We just, it wasn't much fun, but
Too expensive.
Fire and Fury.
Oh,
We
oh,
played Fire and Fury. That was some guys. That was after we reconnected the high school reunion, and we started playing again in the '90s. And then you left town. You got a job out of town and left. And then I didn't really. I did end up meeting somebody locally to play ASL in like the early 2000s. We played about 6 scenarios, I think. But some of the guys in the model club about that same time, early 2000s, they played Fire and Fury, which was 15 millimeter American Civil War. Fairly simple system, but they had all the miniatures. And so yeah, we played miniature. We played American Civil War. We played Napoleonics, some World War II.
yeah.
Now, on the Civil War, the Napoleonics, I mean, those are like super popular. What's the draw? Is it just because it's American history, and the Napoleonics is like whatever? I can understand the Civil War stuff, but like I say, they got tons of miniatures. What's the super draw that you saw, Scott, for these guys playing and yourself to those?
Well, I don't, the Napoleonics is just pretty popular, even in board games. I think. I'm interested in all kinds of military history, but I haven't really got into Napoleonics that much. But it's just something about the way they fought. I think. I don't.
Yeah, massive formations.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
line your guys up and.
With range too, I guess. I mean, you'd have differences in range based upon the nationalities, I guess. So that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
So,
but I actually started. I think my very first war game was Milton Bradley Chopper Strike and Tank Battle. You remember that?
No.
Dang,
I mean, what do you consider a war game? Because I played Stratego when I was a kid. Is that a war game?
Yeah, probably.
Or is chess a war game? I played chess. I learned chess when I was in grade school. Is that a war game? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, I don't know.
But again, that goes back to my brain in complex systems. I taught myself chess when I was in grade school. When I was in 6th grade, our school was across the street from the public library, and the public library had a basement, like a kids area, and they
Hmm.
had games down there, and they had a chess set, and each chess piece had on the bottom of it, kind of in text, was how it moved, right?
Oh, right.
One forward, or as many forward, or
Very cool.
or a knight, how it moves. And I taught myself how to play chess. Maybe that was my first experience with gaming, because I really got into it. And then as I went into high school, because I was such a super nerd, there were a bunch of us that played chess during lunch in the library as well. A bunch of chess nerds.
Yeah,
Um,
I think junior high maybe junior year, I think we tried to play diplomacy at lunchtime, and just show your orders and see how you got screwed over that turn, and then you move on. I don't think I ever came close to winning that game.
Amy's question about history, did it come first or later? You answered, Stu, right? Scott answered. For me, it came second. I was and will be a gamer first. I just enjoy the different types of gaming. Now, when I got into the various World War II games that I played, in junior high and high school that we talked about earlier, I got more interested in World War II. And a lot of what I've learned about World War II has been through playing ASL, because I read all the historical, for the scenarios, right? You read the setup and the aftermath, and that leads me to look up something, and I read about it, and then over time, I have a handful of World War II books, and I would consider myself to be a neophyte in World War II history. I know the basics, the broad strokes. I couldn't get into the details. Like Scott, you can name, Captain so and so at St. Mary Glaze that evening, and I can't get to that level. But I enjoy World War II history. I enjoy history in general, but World War II has always been fascinating to me, because I mean, Amy and you and I have talked about it recently. The stuff we're seeing going on in the world today is a direct result of what happened during World War II, so it's still affecting us today.
Yeah, big time.
So, is there, because listening to you guys talk about this, I think about when I was in high school, I read a lot of books about Vietnam, like Fallen Angels by Walter Dean Meyer, 365 Days by Glaser, A Rumor of War. Are there games like ASL for Vietnam?
At the
Like,
tactical level, not that I'm sure there might be something at the tactical level, but I know there are some, uh, either the bizarre coin. There's a Fire in the Lake is coin. I think there's the Vietnam 60 something to 65. That was a Victory Games. I think a Victory Games one, and I think GMT just released it again, and that like covers the entire war, heavy duty.
Isn't there Hearts and Minds or something like that? That's about the Vietnam War.
or what about Front Toward Enemy? Is that tactical? Is that Vietnam?
Yeah.
And Last 100 Yards? I'm going off the top of my head of things that I think might be Vietnam.
Oh, right.
I
Lock
think
and
those
Load.
are tactical. Yeah, Lock and Load. I mean, there's ASL, there's Vietnam stuff for ASL, but how well it works, I'm not so sure, because the tactics are completely different. The methodologies, there's choppers, and some of the stuff just probably wouldn't work. Some of the rules, the way the tactics work in the rule set, probably don't work that well in ASL using Vietnam.
Okay, so I just asked the chat if you have any questions for the panel, go ahead and fire away, and then maybe Scott, you can do some more of your questions.
More questions?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Question number 3. Dream vacation destination.
Go, Stu. You can go first.
I think it'd be the beaches of France. Sure, why not? I mean, it's France. It's beaches, weather. Hopefully, the best part of the year, and
Now,
Southern.
what do you mean by beaches? You mean like
like the
Normandy
Normandy
beaches,
area.
World War
Yeah,
II,
yeah,
or
historical.
just
The
Oh,
the
historical.
French Riviera type
Yeah,
beaches?
absolutely. No, yeah, just
Okay.
the historical. Because I haven't been there,
Yeah, that would be cool too.
and all these guys that show where they've gone. I mean, it's sort of like I used to live back east, and you would cruise around, and you'd actually you can go to Philadelphia, and these are like actual historical places, and California, gold rush, whatever. But in terms of Revolutionary War, I mean, I grew up back there, and we studied the Revolutionary War pretty hardcore, and we when you live in the area where these battles took place back in history, it holds a very special meaning for the locals and things like that. And to experience that in some of these European settings, regardless where they might be, I think that would be very special. It's like when you've been playing all these Normandy scenarios, and then you actually experience the area. I think you can't imitate that, right?
Yeah, I would add that to my list more from a historical point of view, not necessarily as a fun getaway. I mean, it would be fun to see this stuff, but it'd be a little sobering too.
Yeah.
Like I don't, it'd be. I mean, I've been to the Punch Bowl in Hawaii, and that was kind of sobering, right? It all the graves and all the history. It'd be super interesting, but it would be very sobering. But as far as a vacation just for fun, New Zealand. We want to go to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Scott? Where do you want to go?
Mine would probably be a European battlefield tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Normandy, Holland, Belgium. Like that.
I think a fun vacation would be cruising the fjords of Norway. I think that'd be cool. We went to Alaska, and I'm sure Norway's fjords are much larger, much bigger than Alaska's, and it just takes you away from all of everything. You just, if you want to clear your mind, go to the fjords and just cruise up the fjord. And if it's quiet as hell, flat, smooth, really nice.
I wouldn't mind going to Australia, New Zealand too. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Even a Pacific battlefield tour would be cool. But question number 4: favorite core module.
Core module. Okay. Let's see. I got a sheet. I got to look.
I'm gonna have to say Rising Sun.
I'm gonna have to say.
Interesting.
Again, I'll go back. I'll go back on my. It'll be one of the Allied minors, but since it'll be one of the Allied minors, I'll go with the Croix de Guerre. Go with the French, since they redid it.
I'd have to say mine would probably be Yanks, but it'd be followed closely by Rising Sun.
Yeah, right. It's just Rising Sun. It's just such a. I don't know how many people in chat play PTO, but PTO is just. It just adds another dimension to the game, and in Rising Sun you get. I think you get early war U.S. right, like Philippine. You get U.S. Marine Corps, you get Japanese, and you get Chinese, right?
Yeah, it's basically 2 modules in one.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. They smashed Kota Bushido and
Gung Ho.
Gung Ho together, right? And it just adds a huge dimension to the game that I think a lot of people. I mean, I get the feeling that PTO is kind of down on the level of or people play. It's not as popular as general ASL, and then DTO is probably below that. But I think they're missing out. I think PTO is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's challenging, but it's a lot of fun, like you say.
Yeah.
And hell, Japanese actually fight the Russians in a couple scenarios here and there. So, yeah, it is very, very crazy, the PTO.
All right, question number 5. If you could have dinner with a famous person,
Oh,
alive
no.
or dead, who would it be?
Oh, can I answer?
Amy, you put him up
Yes,
to
yes.
this, didn't you?
No.
You said, Scott, add this question.
I said, Scott, ask the types of questions that Neal absolutely hates,
Oh,
but I
God.
absolutely
Oh
love.
my God.
I would have dinner with William Shakespeare.
Oh, good. Good one. Yes.
God, I don't know.
Dinner.
Might be George Patton, probably.
There's so many interesting ways you could go. I mean, not related to ASL or history or World War
real
II,
person
right?
or fictional character?
Yeah, whatever.
Darth Vader.
Darth
That's
Vader. Oh man.
I mean, the first thing that popped in my head was like, because I'm also a scientist and engineer, so people like Einstein jumped into my head. Stephen
Tesla.
Hawking, yeah, Tesla, Oppenheimer. It'd be fascinating to be able to talk to the guy who worked on the atomic bomb. Just from a science and I guess history perspective, some of those had, you know, an impact on the end of World War II, right? Einstein and Oppenheimer.
Okay, number 6. Favorite
Stu didn't answer.
historical... Oh, Stu didn't answer?
No.
Yeah,
Hey, dude.
let's go with Pablo Picasso.
Huh.
That
I thought
way,
you said Genghis Khan.
well, I guess if either one of them walked in the room, I probably wouldn't be able to recognize them anyway. But I think it would just be, something completely outside of my scope, and so therefore, it would just give a different perspective on something he can do, and obviously, then you become a Picasso, guru at that point. But so that's where I take just something just really totally out of my element, and that way, the conversation, I'd be able to ask him a bazillion questions. So.
Yeah, cool.
Number 6. Favorite historical module.
That's hard because I haven't played many. So I'm just going to go based on potential, I guess. I'm going to say the one historical module to me that looks, and I don't know if it's a blast or not. I've heard people say bad things about it. I've heard good things, but for me, just from looking at it, it was one of the first modules. It was Conf Group Piper. Looks like it'd be great.
Yeah.
We've never gotten it on the table though.
Yeah, I would definitely avoid Bloody Reef Tarawa. I've seen the counter stacks in those,
Yeah, no.
even with the winch.
Real scary.
Yeah, nah,
Fast
nah.
Fast
So with a hex size, I'd probably go with something, maybe like I got to be honest. Like again, I haven't played a lot of PTO, but I'd go with something smaller, something like in the PTO. Probably one of the smaller like mini
WW2
campaigns.
Tambango.
Yeah, probably
That's
any one
tiny,
of those,
yeah.
just a little bit smaller, but something sort of that you could actually digest, in a few sittings instead of like a year and a half.
I would red barricades. It kind of falls into the Tarawa, right? You've got in there you've got cellars, ground level, first level, second level, and you've got stacks like this high for playing on a real board, right? It's just insane.
Yeah.
Just a
I don't like the
bloodbath.
stacks. Not a big stack, dude. I don't care how big the hexes are. I'm not a big stack guy.
It could be epic, but man, it just looks like just a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So Tim asks, which historical module would you suggest someone start with?
Well,
I gotta be honest.
shoot.
I haven't played it, but in terms of maybe ease of getting into, a lot of guys suggest Pegasus Bridge. Haven't played it. They say it's great. Night Rules.
Hot in Flames.
You got to dig into it. Yeah, Hot in Flames, small, and I gotta throw in Drop Zone too.
Yep.
I mean,
Drop Zone. Yeah,
looks approachable. Pretty approachable.
It looks very digestible. Exactly.
Yep.
They're very digestible. And guess what? All three of those are relatively cheap compared to the big monsters.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
And you could even start with even smaller, right? There's little ones like Singling Campaign,
Oh, yeah.
Suicide Creek. If you're into PTO, I mean, they're
Suicide
like
Creek.
mini historicals. You
Yeah.
can start with some of those too.
Yeah. So that's what I would do.
Kakazu Ridge, and I can't remember all the little ones.
That way you don't get too overwhelmed with all the counters of some of these other games might, cause you to ingest. And again, I think that's where a lot of guys suggest the hidden gem that Pegasus Bridge is. You really have a ton of counters and things like that. Again, I would, although I like the French module, Dinan looks like it gets really crowded in that little town, and then it opens up after that. Once it opens up, it'd be a game that I would enjoy. But I hear lots of guys saying, "Oh, the trucks are all jammed in there," and I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. Did you answer, Scott? Are you answering your own questions?
I would. Yeah, mine would be probably. I mean, like I said, I haven't played them, but Comp Group Piper and Drop Zone probably be. And any of the smaller PTO ones, yeah. But probably, I mean, I remember when Comp Group Piper 1 and 2, when they first came out, and it was like, oh God, I just looking at the maps, and it's like, I was so in love with it. And I mean, probably for sentimental reasons, would probably pick that as my favorite, but even though I've never played it. But
it just looks, it looks like, I mean, again, I haven't played it. It looks less of a congested nightmare that the Stalingrad ones or Tarawa could become or are, which I've seen pictures of, and I just look at them and go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
How can I sell this?
No. Sell it?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Question number 7.
Go.
Favorite ice cream?
Do you have one, Stu?
Again, I'm kind of flaky, but go to, if there's like 50 flavors, chocolate, just straight up chocolate, not Dutch chocolate, nothing like this. Just a solid, good chocolate.
I don't know if this counts as ice cream, but I like sherbets a lot. Is that ice cream?
Sure.
Yeah. Is there cream in it?
Sure.
Orange sherbet?
Yeah. Various types of sherbet.
Yeah.
I like. Yeah.
I used to love rainbow sherbet forever.
Yeah.
Mine would be Bunny
Tracks.
Tracks.
What?
Bunny Tracks.
Yep. It's very
What's
good.
that?
Blue Bunny? Bunny Tracks?
Oh, Blue Bunny. Okay. Oh, okay. One that I used to really like, Ben and Jerry's Vanilla Heath Bar Crunch. I really like.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
That'd be good. Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think they put Heath bars in it anymore. Official. They got some knockoff.
Huh. Knockoff.
I haven't had it for a long time, but I don't think it's called Vanilla Heath Bar Crunch. It's just like Vanilla Crunch or something.
Pecan
Vanilla
Prairie.
Toffee.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. In a pinch, though, vanilla. Just straight up vanilla. It's like soft serve vanilla.
Now, Dawn, do they have the warning that this ice cream may contain peanuts on the pecan praline? Just kind of curious. Yeah, my niece is allergic to peanuts, so she had an incident when she went to an ice cream parlor just like 2 or 3 days ago on her anniversary, and she said, is there any peanuts in here? I said, no, we don't have peanuts in any of our establishments, and of course they did.
Yeah.
So
wow.
And she puffed up, went to the emergency room. So it was bad. Chocolate and peanut butter. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, the combos are pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
Number 8. Favorite third-party module / scenario pack.
Oh. Favorite.
Party? Oh, third party scenario pack.
Third party module or scenario pack. Doesn't have to be your favorite, I guess. Favorite's the wrong word. Just maybe most interesting, something or most exciting.
I don't know. You might like this, Scott.
Third
I played
party.
I played it with Pete Palmer, and it was Action at Carrington by Critical Hit. American paratroopers on the map, singular map, really kind of an oversized little map. And we played 3 of the scenarios, and each one had its own flavor. And it was pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine, even though I've never played it, would be Critical Hits All American Pack. You know, which is Hill 30, Tim's Orchard, Kellum's Bridge.
Yeah, they got a bunch of those good ones. And again, like you say, playable, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never played them.
They
Nothing
look
too big.
playable. They're not
Yeah, nothing too
huge.
big.
I was
Yeah.
going to mention, and I probably shouldn't, only because it's probably not playable. I've done a video on it. Critical Hits Omaha East and West.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Just because it's just, I mean, if you combine the two, it's just enormous. I mean, and the detail of the beach is very accurate. Is it playable? I don't know, but it just looks epic to be
Yeah.
able to do basically the entire beach landing at Omaha.
That would be
Uh,
epic. It would be
Yeah,
fun.
I'd
It
rather
would
do
be
something
really
like that
epic.
than Red Barricades, you know,
Yeah, because it's. I mean, there's a lot of units, but they're spread out
spread
all
way out.
across the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, Prokhorovka looks cool, but it's tons of vehicles. I mean, it's a huge map, but it's just got tons of vehicles, tons of tanks.
Yeah.
So again, it might be just a case of, my eyes are bigger than my stomach. It just looks awesome, but till you play it, you don't know.
Yeah, Parker's Crossroad. That's another Critical Hit one that I always liked the look of. Barak de Fracture.
That's a hard one to answer because there's so many of them, and I mean,
Yeah.
none of us have played many of them.
Well,
You
the
kinda
best
have
thing
to
about
go
your
on what looks cool, I guess.
the best thing about your Omaha Beach is you wouldn't actually stack in that. You'd spread everybody out. So
You try
so
to.
that would fit my bill. You don't want to be stacking on Omaha
No,
Beach.
get slaughtered.
Oh my god.
Okay, number 9. Favorite movie of all time.
I can't do those. I'm more of a top
Come on.
5 guy. I'm a top
How about-
5 guy.
How about a movie
It
you would
doesn't-
always watch? That's easier to a movie you would
Yeah.
always watch.
Oh, that I always watch?
You
Amy.
would watch at any given moment.
Amy, what is it? What's the movie that I would
Roadhouse.
always watch?
Alien.
Alien.
Yeah.
No, more Alien than
Yeah.
Aliens. They're great for different reasons, but I prefer Alien.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Love that
Uh,
movie. I snuck into it when I was a kid because my mom wouldn't take me.
Yeah, Pat and the Longest Day. What I will usually always watch is either, and it's again it floats around, Galaxy Quest or The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Either one, Galaxy Quest
both
or
are fun
Fifth Element.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both hilarious movies, and yeah,
I love sci-fi movies. I love sci-fi in general.
Yeah.
I'm a super nerd.
For me, I mean, yeah, it's a tough question. There's so many over the many years. There's been so many different movies that I enjoyed a lot. But probably Star Wars would be one.
Sure.
I don't know, Band of Brothers miniseries.
Great.
The problem with war movies is most war movies suck.
Yeah.
They're too much Hollywood. They're not really that historical. Even Saving Private Ryan, which is probably the best war movie ever made, it's still, I mean, they could have. It pisses me off that they didn't just follow the actual history, the actual true story, and instead of injecting a bunch of Hollywood. They're supposed to be a group of rangers. I mean, I've never been a ranger, but there was a lot of belly aching and pissing and moaning about what they're doing. I don't think most rangers would have acted that way, but just other things about the movie. I mean, it's a great movie, but I think it could have been a lot better. But yeah.
Do we have a question, Amy?
Well, Jonathan had a comment.
Yes. So Jonathan is wondering if anyone is worried about the fact that fewer and fewer people are playing the game.
Yes, absolutely. And we talked about it last Friday Night Tactical. Ways make ASL less intimidating. But yeah, we're an aging demographic, and I don't know how many young people are getting into starter kit or full ASL, or even how many younger people are interested in World War II history, which kind of spurs some of that interest in ASL. I think I've mentioned it before. A lot of young people, World War II is, you know, a time, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's just so far removed from um, their perspective that they don't really think about it much, even though they're living in a world today being affected by what the outcome of World War II.
Right. All right. Exactly. It's just like you said, it gets further and further away, and many of us have parents or grandparents that were in the war, and so it's closer. We were growing up with all the old movies. What are the kids growing up with now? Horrible Star Wars movies, stuff like that, and less history, or history that's obviously skewed, but yeah, I mean World War II. It's just essentially what they might be preaching in high schools, and I'm not sure how much history they're actually preaching in high schools.
Like,
And
I don't know. Do they, Amy? You can. I don't know if you know. Do they teach like, and when they teach world history, how much World War II history do they teach? Do you know?
I don't know that there's really enough time to dive deep into anything, but as far as history, I don't think it's all that different than what we learned when we were in school. So I think they try to do more culture now than maybe we got when we were kids, but yeah, history doesn't change that much. Don made a funny statement
yeah,
about the only thing an American soldier does better than fight is complain. That's his sergeant used to say that all the time.
Hurry up and wait and complain. Yeah, I don't know. I
wow,
mean, we touched on it a little bit previous stream. How do we get new players into ASL? I mean, the natural path is starter kit, and we talked about it as well. I wish, I know they're limited by bandwidth and what gets submitted, but I wish MMP would, I don't know. I mean, they're like ASL is way up here as far as support goes. I wish they
Mhm.
would bring SK up to entice new players in because it's inexpensive, it's easier to learn, but it gets people into the system. But there's a huge emphasis on ASL over SK.
all right. I think they should. I think they should promote. Honestly, they need to promote. Your channel. You're using today's technology in communicating to the public out there and the gamers. A lot of these old guys are computer gamers. They're on the computer a lot. They're playing solo a lot, and they should be using the computer more. And a lot of the kids are using the computer more. They're playing Steam. You're not even buying games at the store anymore. You're downloading it from Steam.
Mhm.
Second Front is an excellent key to essentially kind of opening that up. Anybody who plays that have no idea what Squad Leader ASL is about, that needs to be promoted more, and that needs to be embraced by certain portions of the community instead of chastised and criticized and stuff like that a lot of ASLers have a tendency to do. I think things like that, and just like you said, SK, embrace these other things that bring more people into the fold. How do we get started? I didn't get started playing ASL. I got started playing Squad Leader,
Mhm.
which in the equivalency back then was essentially the SK.
All right.
And if people want to go on beyond Squad Leader, they go to ASL. There's still a small community with Squad Leader players.
Yeah.
So, but with today's marketing schemes and things like that, all the different SK stuff, which I enjoy. I mean, our SK group that we used to meet plenty of times. All those are enjoyable scenarios, still same flavor, and like you say, it's affordable. And so I just think that more people, I'm not sure if tournaments is the way to go. I think they need to to put the tournaments more at your local game conventions, your standard, like your Euro game conventions. They have a small war game section. That's a start, but I don't see it. I've tried to do it a couple times. People just, you know, go sort of like, oh, okay, I remember used to playing that, whatever. But, you know, from what I understand, you know, I see a lot of people post stuff. Yeah, my 15-year-old, my, you know, whatever, I got him into SK and he's enjoying it and things like that. And they may not know the history. Like, you know, I didn't know the history of World War II. It's just the interest of the time period, right? You know, if I'm interested in the Revolutionary War, I'll play like any game on the Revolutionary War. The game doesn't have to necessarily be good, but it's just something that you're interested in. And that's the key is getting their interest, and then they'll go with it. They'll take it and run with it. So that's my opinion. But
as far as the lack of SK stuff out there, I think we talked about it a little bit, but I'm not sure how much actual development. I mean, I don't know the inside workings at MMP, but I'm not sure how much development they actually do. I think they rely a lot on people submitting stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to be. Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as the SK, I mean, would basically need more people to submit AK or SK,
Yep.
You know, scenarios and what have you. Get them to publish it.
Do they even have like a, you know, I'd love to see sort of like an SK, an official SK outlet. I mean, a lot of the ASLers, they go to Game Squad, they go to ASL Central Discord. You know, other than my channel, which is kind of like SK and then ASL, we just kind of talk about ASL in general. But if I was some gamer, went to a store and I bought SK, how do I get connected to a community? And to be honest with you, you know, at least I know when SK came out, if I got SK and I found, oh, it's ASL, so I'll go to MMP and I'll jump on ASL Game Squad and I'll ask my SK questions. It's a little bit better now, but I know before it was like, you know, go away. And so I would be more than surprised by, you know, wait, this is a great game, but yet nobody is willing to kind of sit down with me, sort of thing. I don't know if that's the case, you know, but I know that there's some strange feelings that ASLers have towards SK, and I think I was reading one of the annuals or journals or something like that, and in the journal itself, in the MMP journal, it kind of like sort of downplayed SK, you know, as not as like a legitimate quote product or something. You know, it seemed to me it had a negative connotation to, yeah. And so I don't think that's the best way. It is a great selling product for them. And I think it serves a tremendous purpose just for a general gamer, you know, especially a jet tactician. But whether that's to develop into ASLers, I don't know. I mean, some guys come over, some guys don't.
Yeah, so Tim makes a great point about, I think we need to play in public more, especially in game stores. Take our SK there and get a table. I know that, you know, you guys use Vassal, and would you introverts be willing to go out and play at your local gaming store?
Yes, but the problem is, you know, we're few and far between, especially unless we live in a big city, right? Like if I lived over where Scott lives or he lives here and there's a game store, I'm sure we would both be open to going and throwing down a simple SK scenario and playing it there and having people answer questions and stuff. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. I went to my local game store. I printed up a couple posters and had them post one on like the window up front. And I went there, you know, a couple weekends in a row for a couple months. I actually videotaped or had pictures of some of my SK solo games that I played, and played one guy there, couple turns here and there. You got to go on quote board game day or maybe on games where they don't have Magic the Gathering coming out, because then all the tables are taken. but pretty much you can go there at many times. But and I have some old guys like me. I remember playing that game when I was young, and so on and so forth. And actually gave him one of my copies. That's why I bought 6 copies of SK. I actually gave him one of my copies of SK. Say, hey, take it, read it, play with your son, because he and his son were playing a miniatures game. And I said, hey, I just wrote my name on. So get back to me if you don't like it. Just give me a call and give it to me so I can give it back to somebody else who might like it but whatever. So he never gave me a call. So hopefully he and his son are playing. I don't know.
Oh, Vlad. Go ahead. You gonna say something, Scott?
No.
Oh, okay. So Vlad made a comment. We've done that here in Manila. Very little interest. I wonder how much interest ASL would get if you went to a store and ASL was a miniature system, like Warhammer 40K. I mean, you still had the boards, but you use miniatures. How many
Good
people
point.
would probably come and look at it and go, "Oh, what's this?" As opposed to cardboard.
A ton more. I
Yeah.
think a ton more.
Yeah.
It's very visual. I think Dimitri in Moscow, he owns a store and he has a SK meetup group there. He's got like 10 or 15 guys showing up. Obviously he does it, to generate more sales, but he loves ASL, and he's got a lot of SK guys and a couple of ASLers that show up to his store on a regular basis. So, but he himself as a store owner is doing that.
Yeah.
And what players are doing, I think most guys just they got their they got their friends or their small group, and they don't go outside of that. Maybe just due to age, but yet today's kids, they play with guys that aren't in their country all the time online. They play, first person shooters all the time with guys that aren't even close to them.
Yeah.
And so,
Do you know if these tournaments, which I've never been to one, do they have? I'm wondering if an ASL gathering, if it was just open play and not a tournament, how many people would go to that?
Mm,
You just come and play. Meet people that you've met on Facebook or Discord, and play face to face for 3 days and just do pickup games. But I
from
think
what
a lot
I've
of people don't want to go because they just don't want to play in a tournament setting.
from what
Oh.
I've read, depending on what you go is, some people go there just to play their buddies and things like that. And it's more social. When it first came out, it was more okay. Let me play for some tournament. But yeah, that's a big part of it is to go and play some social gaming, and they don't necessarily play for the title
Yeah,
because
just no
they're
pressure.
casual
Just a
gamers, right?
bunch of
Yeah.
common people with a common interest playing.
Yeah.
Scott, you were going to say something?
Oh, well, I've tried to do that here, and I know Eric just tried recently to do the same thing. Just it'd have to be. I always want to do some kind of tournament, whether it was SK or ASL, but there's just not enough players around here to do that. So they'd be like an open gaming, just like a weekend, 2-3 days. But even getting the few amount of people around here, coordinated to do that's pretty tough.
The Texas ASL's tournament is like a team tournament. I think they have a team tournament, and so they mix the skill levels of players, and they kind of. I hear that's a excellent tournament to go to. The LA crowd, they have like an ASL weekend, but it goes around the valley down there. So, like if you're in Pasadena or South Valley or East or something like that, they have different ways, but they just kind of meet together as a group. So they're more of a tight knit group down there, and but maybe the same thing up in the Seattle area as well, where there's a bunch of guys, Seattle, Vancouver area. So, but
Yeah, there's a game store up. I don't remember where it is. They have, I don't know, monthly meetings now that COVID is kind of I don't know, out of the way or whatever. People don't worry about it as much. They meet and play.
Fusion Sound, ASL. Yeah. All right,
Kevin,
one last
more?
quick
Yes,
question.
One more question.
Dice tower, dice cup, or whiskey glass?
Tower.
Yeah, got your
Okay.
tower.
I love my Mario Tower. Very quiet.
Yep.
I've used a little dish. I guess you could. It's similar to a whiskey glass or cup, but it's glass. It's only because I can get it on the screen easier in a video. It's just too noisy.
Yeah.
Dice are bouncing all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like my dice tower.
Some guys like that tinkle tinkle. I prefer just the quiet
Yeah.
dice tower, but yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a room, a tournament room, everyone rolling
Oh
and
god.
all day
Whiskey
listening to
glass.
that?
Yeah. If you're not playing, it's annoying as hell. Because if you're playing, you're just so focused on the game, you don't really hear much. But yeah, I remember just walking around. If you're in between games and you're walking around, you just hear the ching and ching ching.
Yeah.
And you need aspirin, lots of aspirin or Excedrin.
Yeah, Tim says lots of towers, but Tim says he has one of Mario's towers too. You have one, Scott. I don't know if you have one, Stu, but we
I've got a
both have
small one. I've got the 6-incher or something like
yeah, nice felt, super quiet. I love it.
that. Yeah.
I've got one of Ritter's dice towers too. Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Ritter Krieg. Custom made.
That's it for your questions.
That's it.
Okay.
Good questions.
Maybe
I like
next
them.
time, hit us up with some ASL, more ASL.
Oh, we gotta know the man behind the microphone too. You know,
Who's that?
you.
Oh, you? Me?
We
Yeah.
gotta know about you, the man behind the microphone, with the different questions. You know,
Oh yeah. Well, and Stu, and you.
and Stu.
Amy didn't
Yeah.
answer any. Well,
She answered
a
one.
Hey,
couple.
I answered the most important one. Thank you very
That's right.
much.
You
All right.
answered
Well, that's.
one
I
of
got a
mine as
question for
well.
Amy. Was it Neal's
Oh God.
excellent playing of Squadia that attracted you to him, or just his sheer good looks?
Most
One or the other.
definitely.
Well, okay. He was. He had
He was
just
good
come
looking.
back. Yeah, very. No, he had just come back from basic training the summer between his junior and senior year. So he
That
was,
was fun.
yeah. So yes, he was very attractive and rode a motorcycle.
Oh, hello,
Yeah.
hello.
The rest is
Yeah.
history.
So I've noticed you didn't mention personality or.
I have a sparkling personality.
He is a
Very
ray of
cool.
sunshine.
There you go. There you go. Excellent.
No, one of your friends said I have a very friendly face. I laughed at her, but
Very
thought it was
cool.
hilarious.
Very cool. That's right. Neal's a big motorcycle guy. That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I used to be,
Well,
less so now.
you still love
Although-
him, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm a sport bike guy.
Yeah.
Sport bike. I've never been into cruisers of any kind, whether they're metric cruisers, from Japan or Harleys from America. I just don't. I'm not into them. Just like I'm
Right.
not. Like I tell people, I don't like minivans or station wagons. I'm just not into them.
Yep.
I've always been into fast bikes and sporty bikes.
Nice.
Since I was, well, I got my first bike when I was 17.
Mm.
So yeah, I've been riding them a long time.
I was
Hey, I
gonna
know
send you
you-
a video. I was gonna send you a video the other day. A guy took and put a snow track on his sport bike, and he was riding it in the snow. I thought of
Oh,
you.
Was it a
nice.
Hayabusa?
Yeah, I think so.
I saw that
Green.
video.
Yeah.
Can't remember, but I did see one where they converted a Hayabusa with a snow track and were ripping around a field.
Okay, so I know that we're way over time, but
We're
Don
winding
does
down.
have a final question. Is it possible to get a tower from Mario if you're not on Facebook?
Yes.
He's
He
got a website.
has a website, and I can't. Trying to remember where I might. Let me look. You guys chat for a sec. Let me see. I might have the URL here.
I thought it was recently posted somewhere.
Dice Tower.
Should be able to find it on the Facebook page, and then copy the link.
Dice Tower. I might have it.
Are you a motorcycle guy, Stu?
I am not. I have a motorcycle's license, but I don't own a motorcycle. I had to get it for work. But
Do you ride a motorcycle at work?
I had to. It was like a delivery, so they had like a motorcycle and like side bags and things like that. So more economical than a car. So they had you get a motorcycle's license. Oddly enough, but oh, there you go. That's nice.
Share this. Okay, I'm gonna
I
zoom
used to
in.
race dirt bikes.
Nice. See, that would be
Had a-
fun. That would be the fun part.
I had a dirt
Oh,
bike
that doesn't
since I was 10 years old.
Damn.
Okay, hold on. Let me paste this URL into this.
I'm a big bicycle fan. I've got a recumbent bike and I ride that bad boy all over the place. That is so much fun. But that's just a regular bicycle.
I used to do when I lived in California, I did a lot of mountain biking.
Yeah. That's I'm too top heavy. As soon as I hit that tree root, I'd be flying. That's not
shit. That's a Facebook.
kind of want to avoid that.
I was going to say that,
Yeah,
that defeats the purpose, Neil.
That does not help. I thought he had a regular website. Did you look anywhere, Scott?
I was just looking on Facebook.
I have an
Doesn't it
email.
link
I have
to
an email
some-
address. Here, let me paste the email address in, and then you can email him. Okay. That, as far as I know, that's Mario's email address for his towers. So just email him and work out the details. He's really good at communicating.
He did. Yeah, you have it on your Scouting Report 9 video.
Yeah, probably it's in the description. Probably.
Is that the LATORR? That's his Facebook page. Yeah, Latore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram. Yep.
Yeah, that should hook you up there.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's what you had before. Yeah, I think they do orders. Just get it.
You're welcome, Don. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just posted the website in the Facebook chat.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Oh, someone. Oh no, that was me, I guess, on Twitch.
Technically, oh.
Yeah, I saw a Twitch message, but it was from me, I think.
I just want to congratulate Scott for becoming a 10-3 leader as well as myself.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
Oh, really?
It was like 5 days ago.
Oh,
I don't know why you guys are members of my channel. Okay. For 2 years.
Why not?
You've been giving me $3 a month. Well, YouTube takes their cut, but you've been doing it for 2 years. I don't know why you do it, but you're now 10-3s.
Hell yeah. That's why we do it.
Now I can go pull
to get
my
a 10-3 sticker on next to my name. So
I can go pull my payment now.
Yeah,
It's a 10
you're there. I'm out. Cancel. Yeah.
It's a berserk one too. Hell yeah.
Berserk 10-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, are we done? We're wrapping up here. We're running out of wind. Like I said, I told Amy, I'm like,
Past my bedtime.
get us talking about ASL and Scott asking us goofy questions, and we'll go over our hour every time.
You know what? I like Scott's questions. I think we should come up with, like, next time, each of us come up with 3 questions, just game related or whatever, simple stuff that each one of us can answer, like Molotovs or demo charges, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. Boxers or briefs.
Yeah, something stupid like that, you know? And really
Get to
short stuff.
The real questions, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then then
Hey,
Scott kind of
Todd, how's it going? Yeah, next time. Well, okay. So as I said at the beginning of the stream, Amy and I are going to be out of town in 2 weeks, so we'll do a stream 3 weeks from now, and then we'll get back on the 2-week thing after that. Next one in 3 weeks. Get back on schedule. And we'll have a round robin of questions. I'm gonna try to keep mine ASL related if I can.
Right.
Come on, loosen up a little bit.
And the
Gotta
crowd
have
can
some
asking
fun.
about underwear.
Yeah, the crowd could bring some questions too. Fire some more questions at you guys.
Yeah, the crowd.
Yeah,
I
the,
mean,
the chat pack.
Yeah.
the
chat
chat. You
pack.
can ask anything. Chime in anytime. I
Chat pack.
don't care
Heck
what it's
yeah.
about. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Or attempt to. All right. Anything else from chat? Thanks for tuning in today and listen to us ramble a bit about everything. We went from chess to World War II history and video games and everything in between. And we talked about pizza and vacations and
Ice cream.
ice cream and stuff. It's kind of random. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Stu. Thanks, Amy. We'll see you in 3 weeks. I don't know what we're going to talk about specifically, but I know we're going to ask each other some questions about ASL or underwear. Scott must have a fetish about underwear. I don't know. All right. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Adios.
All right. Take care, guys.